Welcome back to Inspirational Living. I'm your host, Shauna Jenkins, and this month's theme is about helping you bloom through harnessing resilience, living a more purposeful life, embracing the unknown, or turning your big dreams into a reality. Today, I have with me Nita Scruggs. She's a certified hypnotherapist, owner of the Trance Formation Garden, including healing frequencies of 432 hertz. She's a brand coach, and her coaching is centered around branding strategy. Today, she's going to be talking about how to embrace the unknown. So welcome to the show, Nita Scruggs.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome. I've been knowing Nita for a long time. She was actually my coach.
I love that. Like that just, oh my goodness. I love it
Yeah.
when I'm able to witness you all doing amazing things and then be a part of that. I love it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And to be able to witness you doing amazing things, which
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
He get into everything about you
You said
that
what?
I couldn't tell.
You said what now? I'm making sure I'm on silent.
Yeah, can you get into more of everything about you, hypnotherapy,
Okay.
branding, everything?
Yeah, and I'll give a little rundown of why I even how I got into hypnotherapy, because
Yeah.
it's something that I never thought that, number one, I would experience, but be able to provide as a service to people. So doing branding, starting with brand design and then going into brand coaching and consulting, I realized first with the design that there was a missing piece in the foundation, right? Which kind of drove me into coaching and, helping people support them through whatever goals they've mapped out for that brand. But then that revealed another piece within my clients and within myself, which is being able to map out or have a vision of something on a conscious level, but then run into resistance because of an unconscious belief. So that just kind of opened a whole can of worms for them and for me, because even some of my own resistance, I found myself unconsciously like projecting that onto my clients. So I took that as like a responsibility, like you have to do this inner work, which I had already been doing inner work before, but it just kind of pushed me into that area of self-development beyond just the conscious level of just the awareness, like just knowing a thing, going from knowing to actually being, embodying that thing in demonstration in your own life. So started studying, how to do subconscious reprogramming, enrolled in a metaphysical course where I'm getting my bachelor's, soon master's, and also enrolled in a hypnotherapy class. And I'll let y'all know, I was scared. I was scared because when you become a certified hypnotherapist, this is not something that you read. You have to be it. You have to demonstrate it. You don't just get to sit and listen to someone talk. So, and I didn't know that when I enrolled and I knew, eventually we would do it, but no, this was day one. They were like, okay, this is your partner and this is what you're going to do. I was like, what? So being able to actually work with, she was an energy cleanser or something like that. So I worked with her. She was my first client to do hypnotherapy on. And she just wanted to kind of reduce anxiety. And so after seeing her get results from just one of my sessions, I was like, that's it. This is why I need to be doing it, because I've already done it on myself, but just seeing the results on someone else and how I can apply that to my clients as well. But if, first demonstrating it in my own life, I just instantly saw the value in it. So yeah.
Hypnotherapy is definitely valuable, and you definitely need that piece, or even just the reprogramming of your subconscious to be able to get you to that next level.
Absolutely. And there's so many ways that you can tap into your unconscious mind. And a lot of times, you'll read things, it's like, you don't even know what's in your unconscious mind. Now, you can see how your unconscious mind is affecting your everyday mood, because it's going to overpower anything that you know on a conscious level. Even when you desire to do something and it's like, oh, I love to do such and such, and then your actions do not align with the thing that you defined, because your unconscious, subconscious mind will always, ooh, child, drive the vehicle. I'm telling you, it is a real thing. It's a real thing. So studying that just opened my mind up to so many things, especially like when you were giving me the titles to the podcast.
Yeah.
This one, and I'll let you roll it in. I was like, that's the one. That is the one, because it relates so much to the space that I'm in right now and how I support my clients. So I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get into it. How about that? How are you embracing the unknown? How do we embrace the unknown?
Like, when I tell you, once I saw that title and topic, it was like I had chills, because literally, I think the past year, maybe 2 years, that has been my biggest challenge, is embracing the unknown and challenging any fears that come with unknown and not needing to know. So in group coaching, which we talk about branding majority of the time, but what comes up is the resistance. What if, I present something and nobody buys, or I don't have all of these steps in order yet. I feel like I'm unprepared. I can't do this. I can't do that. Just preparing for failure just because it's unknown. And I have found that we are so equipped with many things that we have yet to discover just because we get in our own way, right?
Yeah.
And it's really just mismanagement. I have come to find out that the unknown is really just unfamiliar. It's just unfamiliar territory. It is nothing new. You just have to activate whatever which is already within you. So I'm telling you, it is a journey. And it is not one where you have to look 20 steps ahead. You have to literally look at the step you're taking right now. Staying relevant, whatever it is that is in front of you right now, utilizing that is how you embrace the unknown, how you leverage the unknown, and just, separate yourself. That ego, right? Your ego wants to be right. Your ego wants instant gratification. Your ego even wants to be wrong sometimes. It wants you to be a special case. It wants you to have all these things that are like, oh, well, let me use this so I can do what. Yeah. When I tell you embracing the unknown and that control, yeah, that is a whole nother area that I had to still working on the unknown, because I need to know, because I need to control the room. Okay. Like, I need to know what is next. Okay. So I can get my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Because I love control, and even unpacking that came down to, that's just something that you've created to cope. You have to be in control all times of something, because at some point you felt like you had no control. So that is something else that I've learned about embracing the unknown. And it's beautiful when you do think about it, doing some inventory of any time in your life where you allowed the unknown to just unfold for you, that usually those are your most beautiful experiences.
Yeah.
When you get out the way and just allow your abundance to come to you, instead of like, oh, let me plan this, this, and this, when all it takes is your single vision, and it can be magnified into something beautiful. So I keep that in the front of my mind when we talk about unknown and not knowing the next step, in creating this imaginary gap between your vision and what you desire and actually materializing that thing. Instead of focusing on how to do it, just be so clear on what it is. That right there diminishes so much stress and mismanaged energy, that you could be fueling into making that thing even more beautiful, and calling in your resources
Yeah.
that know the thing. Because I don't need to know anymore. I don't need to know. I just know that I have access to all knowing. So
Yeah.
that is how I embrace the unknown at this point.
So being so clear of what it is, I definitely get it. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, you just said something with that.
Yeah. Being clear on the what and allowing the how is, to me, that is embracing the unknown. That is the ultimate embracing the God within you.
Yes.
Whatever resource comes to you, allowing your abundance that's everywhere around you, right? Is really just allowing the how from multiple sources. We get blessings everywhere. Like everything is abundance when you think about
Yes.
it. It's just things that we overlook, or we plan for it to come a certain way. If you look and you're asking, this is why I journal so much. If I, refer back to my asking, I always get what I desire. Always. It may not come in the vehicle I thought it was going to come, but I can't think of a time that I didn't get what I desire, as long as it was something that I truly believed that I was going to receive.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with me being deserving, which is a whole nother topic. But because I believe as well, we don't get what we deserve. We get what we believe. And I'm thankful for that, because in all aspects, because I know there are plenty of things in a good way that I didn't deserve,
Yeah.
and some challenging times and unpleasant times that I received things that I felt like I didn't deserve, but they definitely were in my belief system, whether it was one I created for myself or one that I came into this time with from a previous lifetime or whatever, that I came with. So it's so many different areas, honey. We could be here all day talking about it.
Now, that is something that you just said about we get what we believe, because we often feel like we have to feel worthy to get it. And now you're saying that, all right, the reason why you're not getting it is because you don't believe it, that it's possible for you.
Yeah. And it's so true. And it sounds like, okay, well, why do you talk about worthiness? And which it plays a part in it, but your worthiness, you were born worthy, you were born qualified, you were born equipped. But when we talk about your belief system and your alignment and things like that, that is where the honey is. And it's not just believing a thing is possible, but believing that thing is already available for you. And then, residing where that thing is energetically is so much deeper too than just belief clearing. Because you can clear the belief and still not align with the thing you desire.
Yes.
Which I've gone through that process too, of uncovering, limited beliefs and managing those better, how to unpack those. Where do limiting beliefs come from? Are you creating limiting beliefs because you see a symptom of something, like money, right? Some of my clients, would be challenged with raising prices, or I raise prices, but I'm not getting it, or whatever. And then they just go into, oh, I have money blocks. Or do you have some type of belief that is affecting money? You know what I mean? So it really is, it's a one-person journey. Like, you really have to do your own self-reflection with the tools that you are given. But the worthiness, absolutely, it still plays a part. But those belief systems will show up and they will be loud, and you can hear it in how you present yourself. How do you receive even something as like a compliment? How you give compliments? How do you take criticism? If you present yourself, are you willing to present yourself? without it needing to be validated. What are your belief systems really around? Do you do something and put a cap on it because you're like, oh, well, that's all I've seen? There are so many different areas that your belief system is revealed in your every day to day. And a lot of it isn't stuff that you created. You just came in with. But you can still challenge them one by one.
Yeah. And I think people need to know that they can challenge it, that even if they came in with this ideal of who they should be, they can be whatever.
Absolutely. And that's the thing too. I think a lot of us think, well, I'm older, I'm set in my ways, I'm grown now and all that, but it's literally never too late to challenge some belief system that isn't, serving a purpose now. I believe all things serve a purpose at one point, but you come here to live and have an earthly experience, right? But you're also here to cause some sort of disruption and cycling. So when there is something that you feel like, oh, well, that's not really working, or I'm not really, that's not really, then it's time to go into your own personal belief system and see what is. And we do it all the time. Even some of the things that we say, like, oh my gosh, when it rains, it pours. And like, those are like, common phrases and things like that we pick up on, and we just assume when one thing happens, something else happens, and all these things, like beliefs that you picked up, and it's like, well, this is law because everybody else believes it, and I've seen the data. You see the data because you believe in it.
Yeah, you created it.
You created it, and that is such a hard pill to swallow because no one wants to even think that I can play part in this. Like, and that doesn't mean that you're never going to have a challenging moment. That's not what that's saying, but there is some belief into what you do with that moment, right? And to create more moments from that, so you can take a moment that's challenging for you and ride with that. Like, you know what? I'm buckling down. It's my season to be down. I guess we just gonna, I don't know. or you can look at it as opportunity.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of, transformation to make that your default. When you are in those spots where you have to decide what to do with what you got, and kind of look at it for what it is, let it serve its purpose, and don't make that your life. You just make it an opportunity to grow above that. And it's hard. It is challenging to get to that point, because we go through stuff and be like, now wait a minute. Okay, now I know I did my meditations, I did not journal this, so what's up?
When did this happen?
Yeah, like, okay. And I talk about it's funny because a lot of my clients, once they get to know me, even my friends, of course, like, know some of my personal experiences, and like, how do you stay optimistic? How do you stay, happy all the time? I'm like, I'm not happy all the time.
Yeah.
No, not. I choose to focus on what I prefer, but that doesn't mean that I don't have periods where I allow myself to be human. And even that took work. That took work to get to a space where you can create your own safe space, or make sure that you are allowing safe spaces to be vulnerable, to be authentic in that moment when it's ugly, and not claiming that as how you're gonna be forever, but to release and identify how you're feeling at that moment and release it and all that. And that takes some training too, which is a lot of people don't really discuss that. They talk about even when we talk about mental health and how people display themselves, or people that do show emotion, or seem like they're loud, or whatever, and it's like not socially acceptable, and they talk about that, And then it's really the people that have created this coping mechanism of seeming hard all the time, that you are never affected by anything, that there's nothing to process, which I feel like I have no problems, I have opportunities, but just I found myself sitting in a space where I didn't allow myself to cry. I didn't allow myself to show anger. Is like, oh, I can't do that because, ooh, if I show my human parts, it's gonna be a problem. So even going through that inner work, and knowing that you can be in that moment and leave it in that moment and allow it to serve a purpose and still do greater things. You don't have to be this toxic, positive person that's like, oh my gosh, just dismissing yourself all day. Yes. So I've had to learn that too. So, ooh, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that being positive. I think people take that if you are sad, like you're not happy, you can still have a happy life, but still be dealing with a moment.
Yeah.
And I think people need to make a difference between that. Like you can still be happy, but you can still have some stuff falling apart over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, oh my gosh, like, and I've found myself in that quite a few times. I'm like, but I think, which a lot of people say I have the craziest poker face, because I can have like a burning disaster beside me and be like, well, how are you? Well, no, I'm fine. What do you mean? No, what fire?
You don't see
no. Literally coughing through the smoke. What fire? No, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But recognizing there is a time that you need to pause and address things head on, instead of finding distractions and things to go around it and all of that. It doesn't mean that you just sit and validate pain, but you do validate the need to grow above whatever is happening in that moment. So, that has been an incredible journey, part of my journey. I think not even just recently, just over time, but now being in a space where I can hear better, I can feel better, my discernment is much better, that I can really appreciate those moments for what they were, much better than I can now. I don't know if you relate to that, like being able, going through something and then looking back now and like, dang, that's what that was for. Or man, I felt like I was barely gonna make it through that.
Yeah.
But you see what came out of that situation. Not saying you have to struggle to receive some type of glory, but when you are in a challenging moment or were previously, you can kind of see it for what it really was from where you are now. It's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I think I'll use those past things, like you said, like keep those moments in front of you, that inventory. Like I use that now because I'm like, okay, what's gonna come out of this? Because I know something's good gonna come out of this, but I just got to get through this to see that on the other side.
Yeah, and being able to bring everything back to your own self-reflection. Yes. Even as it relates to other people, your connections, your interactions with other people, and the grace, right? Being able to extend some sort of grace, of course, still having boundaries, but we can be here all day, okay? I don't know how much time you got, but we can, when it comes to boundaries and other people, respecting your own boundaries, honoring your boundaries, honoring other people's boundaries, but still having that grace, right? That everybody's on their own personal journey. Empathy, not just being an empath, and that's a whole nother topic in itself too. Wow. But yeah, it's definitely is not for the faint of heart. But once you do get to whatever, next portion of your journey, as you ascend, you're in your ascension, and you get to a state that feels lighter, you're able to reflect back and look like, oh, okay, all right, okay, I got it now. I got it. And then you think you're done, and then you have to do something else.
It's never done.
Never, okay? I do love it though. I absolutely love the process of transformation. And that's why I always talk about the transformation garden and relate it to flowers and gardening. And during the pandemic, I had like my biggest garden at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember I stayed outside in that garden constantly, just looking at how everything served a purpose in that garden. From seed, the soil worked, and I had to allow it to work. I couldn't plant the seed and dig it up and see if there were roots. I had to trust everything that I planted in there, every intent that I planted would produce fruit. And I had to wait. And in waiting, I had to prepare. I had to prepare stakes for when the leaves grow. I had to make sure my fertilizer was there. I had to really monitor my watering, like all of those things. And then once it sprouted, I had to sit back even more and let my pollinators come and do their job, which even taught me even more, because there are certain plants that you can like hand pollinate. And my control was showing up like, y'all ain't moving fast enough, but y'all not gonna get on my fruit pollinated. And I realized in that moment too, even, self hand pollinating, that sometimes you are forcing fruit that is not for you. Mm-hmm. Allow it to be. Allow your portion to come to you. And it's just such a beautiful process. Just nature too, speaking to you, being outside, really just being an observant instead of doing so much, just being and looking. No judgment on yourself or anything that you see, just being has been such a essential part of my personal growth, in honoring what transformation is, not just change. Change can be instantly. One of my peers in the industry, Valerie, she said that before, change can be instant, but transformation is over time. And it's so true. When you look back, you can change just with the decision, but then that's where the work comes in, is your discipline, your consistency with yourself, honoring, what is within you, looking inside for whatever confirmation you need, affirming what you desire. Is so many areas that I've had to unpack, unfold, and then surrender in that process. So.
Oh my God, that was so beautiful. Like, you really hit me with that. Allowing your portion to come to you. Like, yeah. I felt something like it was like an emotional, because I felt that.
Yeah, allowing your portion is definitely another level of surrendering. And I learned that, especially with that garden, and I still hand pollinate, let's be clear, but but in a different sense. So not going with this, crazy expectation, and even the control, which was really like fear of rejection. If I don't have enough, what if I don't have enough, or I would like more, or whatever, when your what was so different when you came into it. What you define your intent was so different when you came into it. So allow your portion. What if your portion is this amount, so you can allow something better to go with that? So, and how you manage your portion, right? Because I'm a firm believer that, my higher mind and God, the universe, will give me the portion that I am equipped to maintain at that time. I don't want any more than what I can manage. I've done it before. It was real ghetto. So, not going to do that again. I will accept the portion that I am aligned with. And I will walk away with my portion in full gratitude, because it once you realize your portion is actually easy to attract.
Yeah.
It is the maintenance that will kick your tail if you are not, if you are not aligned with that thing, if you don't reside there. And that's something I've learned too, as far as, everything is energy and all of that. And you can manipulate energy and attract something very quickly, in a day, hour, whatever. Attract it to you and repel it just as quick. Because it's not where you can go, it is where you reside. It is it's such a difference in what, your everyday walk. Where do you reside? Yeah. Where's your frequency? Your default? Where do you live?
Yeah.
Not where did you go visit? I'm telling you, it is such a difference. And I learned the hard way, okay? But it was one of those lessons that I needed to learn, as far as my allowance too. And you can, of course, change energy to do something or whatever, but you better make sure that when you do that, you better raise your frequency and get your bags and move to wherever that is to reside. Okay. Don't be a visitor. Don't rent it. Don't lease it. You need to buy the property.
Yeah.
Big lesson in life.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the lessons I had to learn, because I'm like, hold up, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, so I'm sure you can relate to like desiring a thing and having it and then not really sure how to manage that thing. Have you ever been in that position? And it's not often talked about, like even success, like career successes, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are fearful of failure, but we don't really talk about fear of success.
Yeah.
Especially something that you've never acquired before.
Yeah.
And you can acquire a thing that you are not ready to maintain.
Yes.
And it can be very, I don't know, soul shifting. I don't even know the word. It really takes a lot for you to kind of put your ego to the side and allow it to serve its purpose and not have it define you as a person as a whole, but still give you data for where you need to grow.
Yeah.
And I know, listen, yeah. Yes, because Aquarius in me, baby, you can't tell us we can't do something, and we're gonna do it real quick. And we don't care about none of that. We're gonna get it done, and then we'll walk away. If it just, I don't know, it's not mine anymore. I don't care. But I've learned it in that process of being able to acquire a thing. Like I think Aquarius people naturally live in this state of delusion. Like you can't bridge we got reality in the spiritual realm, and we just be like, I don't really know. Like I might come flying in here on a spaceship. That is how Aquarius I am. So I've learned so much about, myself. And someone was telling me about, astrology and zodiacs and stuff, and we were going through natal charts. And it really hit me when they were expressing about the age of Aquarius and all this other stuff. And we were just going through that, and they were like, you do know you aren't just an Aquarius. That's not what you are. That's when you are. And yeah, that changed how I viewed so much, but definitely Aquarius to the core. We are not, we ain't regular at all. We're not regular.
So, my husband's Aquarius, so
really,
so I can resonate with you, Aquariuses.
Yeah, we are very. I don't know. There is not one word to describe this. It's very different. Like I'm sick of myself sometimes, but I do love it though. I do. My husband is an Aquarius too. So
wow.
Woo. We ain't gonna do that on your podcast today, though.
Wow. So how to embrace the unknown, man. You have talked about your journey. You have talked about like where you at, and you also have gave us advice about how we can also embrace the unknown a little bit better. What do you think could be some steps, just like 1, 2, 3, or something that someone could put into action today to start
embrace
embracing the unknown? Yes.
Okay. I would say, number one, just get clarity about what you want life to look like. That's your most important step, is not looking left and right, not taking that extra consideration for everybody else. But what do you desire life to look like? When you visualize your delicious life, what does that look like for you? Not just what you've learned is available, what you've already done, or whatever. No caps on it. If you can visualize that, write it down multiple times, write it down every day, sit just 10 minutes a day and visualize it. And not just, painting a picture in my head. No, smell it, taste it, feel it every single day. And then start walking as the person already living that.
Yeah.
And trust that everything unknown is working for you. Those are the simplest steps that you can do to, number one, manifest or allow your abundance and, get out the way. And I would say also, don't make the mistake of thinking because there's some type of obstacle or there's some type of resistance that's a sign that, oh my gosh, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's data showing you where the resistance is within you to grow above whatever that thing is. So it's like, okay, not this way, but this way, but still go to the very thing that you desire. I promise you, it has to be a way of being. It can't just be something you read on a worksheet. It has to be in your everyday. You can start with something simple. You don't have to start it with, I'm going to get a whole house in 200 acres and $1 billion. Start with where you energetically reside. Start there, make a clear vision of that thing, and then move forward as the person that has it. If you desire to be a person that has the career that you would like, if that's corporate, working for someone or entrepreneurship or whatever, how you set your day up showcases how much you believe that's for you. If you feel like, I'm going to get this job, but you're still in the bed at 1 p.m., you're not preparing yourself for the day, you're not feeding yourself, you're not equipping yourself, with time off or whatever, you're not on some type of schedule, you're not, whatever it is that you would be doing as someone with that job, then you need to go back and look at your beliefs. Having more money or having better relationships, right? Whatever that person would be doing, you better start moving towards it. And it's amazing how things will fall into your lap and you won't even know how. You will go from that vision to sitting in that materialized vision and not even know how you got there. And it's so funny because how really none of your business sometimes is. Yeah, I remember saying to one of my clients who was asking if I was doing the packages I used to do before. And she was like, well, what are you doing right now? In terms of brand, I don't see you really marketing like you used to and all of that. And I said, well, I set my intent, last year that I was kind of just going to chill out. And there's a lot of things I needed to unpack during that time. And I was just going to allow money to come in. And I was sitting there and I said, girl, you know what? I don't know. Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, I don't even know where I get money from. Sometimes I really don't. It'll just flow in. All needs are met at all times. And it's very interesting how that works, just setting your intent and allowing. And the work is on yourself. And then also utilizing opportunity when you ask for something and then you have an opportunity. It's like, where did that come from? Don't miss your abundance. Don't miss your abundance. Or, and then even sometimes things being thrown at you to make sure that you're staying in alignment with the person that has the thing that you want. So sometimes it's rejecting something that comes. So if you know the person that you desire to be or embody or whatever wouldn't do that thing, don't do it. Don't do it. Practice using your muscle of allowing people to fill the silent spaces, empty spaces, and whatever you decide to do in terms of boundaries and your no. That's another step too. I know I've listed like 6 steps, but your no, value and honor your no and allow people to deal with your no on their own. Don't take up that space. And actually it's kind of offensive when you assume people can't handle, they aren't equipped to handle themselves when you have to do what is best for you. So that's why it causes a lot of disruption. They're not really bothered by your no. They think they're bothered by your no, but it's really stirring up, their inner child too. Like, I can't handle myself, but it is coming up, on a conscious level, them saying, I can't believe you're not there for me, or you're telling me no, and rejection and ego and all of that. But there's so much more to that. But allow them to deal with whatever it is that you have to do for yourself in that moment and every moment after.
Wow. I knew this was going to be good.
I can talk all day.
Oh my God. And you always bring that knowledge and wisdom.
Thank you so much. I love it. I absolutely love the podcast. You are really killing it with these topics. I love it. Things that need to be discussed from all different perspectives. I love it. Absolutely.
Before I let you go, one thing, is there anything that you want to share? It doesn't have to be about what we talked about today. It could be anything. And then tell people how can they connect with you.
What would I like to share?
Anything.
I think I've shared everything. I'll say this, my last quote. Well, it's not even a quote. Just set your intent. That's all I want to share. Yeah. Set your intent. And everything that you do, set your intent and keep it close to you. Yeah. Whoever that's for, set your intent. You know what it is. Move forward in that. Block out distractions and move forward. And you can find me at Nita Scruggs everywhere, or Brain Talk with Nita, Trance Formation Garden on Apple Music, everywhere, literally. Tidal, Amazon is streaming everywhere. I have about 20 more that are coming, which is exciting. Also, Clarity is a new Black journal on Amazon, launching another journal coming up. So just check your girl. I'm Googleable. And thank you so much, Shonda, for inviting me to this space where I'm able to share and my truth and, hopefully help someone unpack their own truth.
Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here with me, us, my community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in today. I hope that you found value in today's episode and that Nita's story inspires you to go into the unknown. Remember, set your intent. And that is the end of this. All right, you guys, have an amazing day. I love you guys. Bye.